Located in the middle of Southeast Asia, between Burma on the west and Cambodia on the east, Thailand stretches over 2,000 kilometers from the foothills of the Himalayas to the Malaysian peninsula. Known until 1939 as Siam, the country's current name dates back to the advent of the nationalist government, who adopted the root word Thai, which means free. This liberty refers to the fact that Thailand was the country in Southeast Asia to never have been colonized by Europeans. Throughout its history, the inhabitants of Thailand have always called it by the names of its successive capitals, such as Sukhothai and Ayutthaya. The capital, Bangkok, is an enormous city of 5 million inhabitants, where temples sit side by side with skyscrapers. In the streets, it's as common to see limousines as it is to see the local tuk-tuks, as the modern and the traditional mix to offer the visitor a unique experience. The center of industrial and economic commerce, this dynamic city seems to always be changing and growing. Driving in Bangkok can take hours. The same route, which may take up to 3 hours during daylight hours, can often be crossed in a half an hour at night. 20 years ago, there were as many rickshaws as there were cars. Certain avenues were merely narrow streets along bad-smelling canals, known as klongs. It was a time when pedestrians weren't bothered by the pollution. Today, Bangkok's heavy traffic poses serious problems, which may not be resolved in the near future. Because of the city's frequent floods, building a subway system is impossible. 2 international experts are currently studying the problem, using the Dutch polders as possible solutions. Siam Square is a popular spot in Bangkok's commercial quarter. Numerous movie theaters and clothes shops which sell Western fashions lure in the local youth. The Indian sanctuary in Siam Square is a reminder that Hinduism is still a strong influence in Thailand. The locals come here to make offerings to Brahma, hoping to be blessed by his generosity. Chinatown. During the day, the streets are filled with a deafening din. The narrow, winding streets are packed with shops of all kinds. Everything can be found here: Chinese paper lanterns, birds' nests, motorbikes, and medicines from the Celestial Empire. Bangkok has been heavily influenced by the Chinese throughout its history. This port town attracted innumerable merchants, and Thailand had long been considered the agricultural hub of Southeast Asia. The Chinese merchants traditionally made up the majority of shopkeepers, and were the movers and shakers in Thailand's trade for centuries. Today, they hold a firm grip on the country's commerce and economy. It seems somewhat ironic that a country so proud of its independence would have given up the control of its economy to foreigners. The marketplace offers the freshest and least expensive produce to be found in Bangkok, as most of it arrives daily by boat from the farms and fields surrounding the city. The tuk-tuks are a marriage between scooters and cars, and are the most picturesque means of transportation in the city. They may also be the least dangerous, if you judge by the number of religious images and good luck charms that protect them. Bangkok at night offers a world of flashing neon signs. In Patpong, nightclubs remain open until dawn. Tourists, as well as Thai men spending a night out with their friends, are lured to this district. When night falls, hundreds of small shops open as if by magic, and conduct business until the wee hours of the morning. Thai boxing is another popular distraction in Bangkok. It's a combination of martial arts and elaborate show. Matches are held every day in Bangkok's 2 stadiums. A traditional orchestra accompanies the preliminary rituals, which are performed as an expression of gratitude to the boxers' trainers. Observing the audience can at times be just as entertaining as watching the match itself. The river and canals which surround Bangkok play an extremely important role in the city, whose nickname is the Venice of the Orient. A different lifestyle is played out by the inhabitants in this part of the capital, among the narrow streets and the small shops. The ballet of the large boats provides a breathtaking sight. Traveling along the city's waterways is often a quicker means of getting from one place to another than is traveling by land. Boats glide along freely through the water lily-choked waters. The famous traditional floating markets, once so important to the city's economy, were for a time considered outdated. Today, they are regaining importance thanks to government support. The Thonburi floating market remains to this day one of Bangkok's most famous attractions. The merchants' boats are filled with fruits and vegetables, as well as dried fish and an outstanding variety of local cuisine. Bangkok's modern skyscrapers rise among the city's 400 traditional temples, competing in height with the Golden Temple. The opulence of the gold and ceramic tile-covered Buddhist monuments in the middle of this modern city serve as a reminder that Bangkok is first and foremost Thailand's divine city. Traditional Thai dance is one of this country's most elaborate forms of artistic expression. Each posture, each delicate movement of the dancer's hands, head, and feet are of great significance and represent a very specific emotion. The costumes are sumptuously decorated. The dancers interpreting the role of a royal character wear traditional conical headdresses. Precious stones, gold chains, and spectacular ornaments decorate the top part of their costumes. In this rapidly changing city, where traditional and modern ways of life are so intricately linked, the Thai people remain deeply rooted in their religion and customs. And this respect of the traditional way of life continues to be a strong social value. The Thai people are deeply respectful of King Rama IX and his family. Crowned in 1950, he is the bastion of national unity. The parliamentary monarchy established in 1932 marked a step towards democracy, despite the social and political upheavals which followed. Today, far from being a mere figurehead, Rama IX constitutionally holds real power. He's chief of state and of the military, and all legislative acts must be signed by him. Wat Po is the oldest and largest of all the temples in Bangkok. It's sometimes referred to as Thailand's first university. This religious monument is traditionally also a place of learning and medicine. Inside sits the Siddhartha, the largest Buddha in all Thailand. In its reclining position, it measures 46 meters long and 15 meters high. It's said this is the position Buddha took some 2,500 years ago as he awaited his death. Wat Po is a Hinayana temple. There exists two branches of Buddhism, the Mahayana, which is practiced primarily in Tibet, China, and Japan, and the smaller Hinayana, which is primarily practiced in Southeast Asia and Ceylon. The construction of the temple began in 1688, as the Thai people were leaving Ayutthaya, the former capital of Siam to the north, which was under attack by Burma. The people settled in Thonburi on the other side of the river. It is unclear to this day who actually began the construction of this temple. The construction of Wat Po's main building began in 1789 under the rule of Rama I and was completed in 1830 under Rama III. It houses Rama I's spirit. The Buddha is shown sitting with his disciples, his hands joined. The umbrella symbolizes the king's power and represents the sky. It's the contact between earth and nirvana. The smaller statues represent guardians, the devil at the bottom, Garuda, half man, half bird in the middle, and the angels on top. Throughout Thailand's history of feudal wars and ever-changing borders, the diverse ethnic groups who lived here found a unity in Buddhism. From its origins in India almost 2,500 years ago, Buddhism at one time had spread throughout Southeastern Asia and the Indian subcontinent, as well as throughout China, Tibet, Japan, Korea, and Indonesia. Wat Sudat is located near the Big Swing. Construction began under the reign of Rama I and was completed under the reign of Rama III. It's an excellent example of the traditional Wat. Literally translated as temple, the Wat is much more than a religious edifice. It is the social core of the community. The bonzes are veritable tutors, and their presence gives the Wat a social dimension which rises above a purely religious one.
เดี๋ยวรอเดี๋ยวพาไปนะครับนัก
Number 5ไม่ต้องอ่านแล้วอ่านดังๆตั้งใจข้อ1ถึงข้อ10 1 2 3 Number 3 Number 4
Buddhists don't pray, they meditate, and the bonzes engage in meditation on a daily basis. In Thailand, almost every young man spends a few months in a monastery as a monk. Here, monks may return to civilian life when they please, but many choose this holy path as a way of life. Located on the shores of the Chao Phraya River, the spires of the Temple of Dawn reflect in the tranquil waters. Wat Arun, perhaps one of Bangkok's most familiar temples, was built during the reign of Rama II in the 19th century at the site of the ancient royal temple of Taksin. The architects depended on the generosity of the faithful to provide them with enough porcelain ware to complete the temple's decoration. The first rays of morning sun show off the porcelain and earthenware encrusted walls to their best advantage. The countryside in northern Thailand is of breathtaking beauty. Vast expanses of dense forest land can only be penetrated and explored with the use of domesticated elephants. Unfortunately, today this pristine region is threatened by intense deforesting and burn and clear farming techniques. Tea, tobacco, coffee, strawberries, and various other crops are grown on these fields, which are often located at high altitudes. In the northwest part of Thailand lives a people of Tibetan-Burmese origin, the Lisus. They are animists and often call on the village healer or exorcist. They live in rhythm with the region's wild environment. The various mountain tribes, the Karens in particular, are well known for domesticating elephants. These animals are vital in the forested regions and are well adapted to the jungle's difficult working conditions. They're used not only for farming, but also for heavy work, which normally would require a great deal of manpower. Elephants are commonly used in the state-run teak forests. When the elephants are 3 years old, they're taught to walk with chains and to move, line up, and stack tree trunks. The Akas people came from Burma. It's believed they are descendants of the Lolos people, whose origins date back some 4,000 years. They are animists and believe that water is a dangerous element, as it can harbor all kinds of evil spirits. They are traditionally a happy people who enjoy singing and dancing. The women of this tribe wear heavy silver jewelry, which is often their only wealth.
No, por aquí doy una.
To the north, the foothills of the Himalayas are an ideal location for terrace farming. The cultivation of rice in this area goes back for centuries. The carefully tended rice paddies are traditionally one of Thailand's richest assets. Mountain tribes cultivate a particular variety of rice, known as sticky rice, which requires little irrigation. Rice farming involves two main steps: the initial planting and the harvest of the young shoots for replanting in a larger paddy, where the shoot will have ample space to grow and produce its precious grains. The jungle is a beautiful but hostile environment. The inhabitants' life is often harsh, but is tempered by the use of opium. The Mayos and Lahus tribes have produced opium for centuries. The poppy from which opium is derived must be grown at a high altitude. The inhabitants of the region are often addicted to opium, but the Thai government has set up a program of substitute crops, which in recent years seems to be paying off. The Lahus are known to be excellent hunters. Certain groups believe in the existence of a man god, whose strength comes from the physical and magical realm in which he lives. At the end of the 19th century, the Hmong people came to Thailand from China, where they had previously been nomadic warriors. Their traditional dances, which are only performed by the tribe's elders, are slowly being forgotten by the younger generation. Chiang Mai is the second largest city in Thailand. Known as the Rose of the North, it was once the capital of the Lan Na Thai Kingdom, which means Kingdom of a Million Rice Paddies. Located in the northwest part of Thailand, it was the cradle of Thai civilization. Its economy is based on a highly developed handicraft trade. In the evening, small food stands pop up and offer all types of local delicacies. Temporary stands have given way to more permanent structures, but the region's inhabitants still take advantage of any unoccupied corner to sell their embroidered materials and silver jewelry. The Wat Phratat Doi Sutef Monastery stands on the summit of Doi Sutef Hill. The chedi and the golden sunshades of this hallowed monastery rise to 1,050 meters in altitude. It's said the site for the monastery was in fact chosen by a white elephant in the 14th century. As the story goes, King Kuwena had promised to build a sanctuary for one of Buddha's relics at a location chosen by a white elephant. The elephant stopped at Doi Sutef and promptly died. It was a sure sign. The chedi built to house the relic was embellished over the years by the successive sovereigns of Chiang Mai. The halls surrounding the esplanade house Buddhas which have come from various locations, many of which are from Sukhothai. The faithful cover them with gold leaf, and each one symbolizes an image of the venerated god. Founded in 1238, Sukhothai was the first organized state and the first capital of Siam. During the 2 centuries of Sukhothai's grandeur, artistic creation reached heights which had never been achieved in the preceding kingdoms. It was the beginning of a style unique to Thailand. But the laterite and stucco construction wasn't strong enough to resist the natural forces of time, weather, and the jungle. In 1378, Sukhothai became a vassal state of Ayutthaya, and its riches and power crumbled into ruins. These ruins were only discovered in 1953, and with UNESCO's help, the Thai people were able to renovate some 60 of the original monuments. One of the temples today holds some of Buddha's hair and one of his bones. Wat Sisawai was originally a Hindu sanctuary located outside of Sukhothai. During the Khmer period, it was converted into a Buddhist temple. One of the largest Buddhas in Thailand is found at Wat Sikum. The Buddha is depicted in a submissive position, measuring 15 meters long and more than 11 meters wide. The walls of the enclosure under which it is housed are 3 meters thick, and a passage leads to the ceiling, which is decorated with engraved tiles. It's one of the rare Sukhothai works to have survived to this day. Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya was the second capital of Siam. This magnificent city, which saw the rule of 33 kings, and which was inhabited by up to 1 million inhabitants, was destroyed in 1767 by the Burmese. Today, it is an archaeological park which was restored and is cared for with help from UNESCO and the Beaux-Arts. Wat Ratchabirana was built in the Khmer style by the king Boram Ratcha Tirat II in the 15th century. It was constructed on the burial site of the king's 2 brothers. Wat Chai Watanaram is one of Thailand's most impressive Buddhist monasteries. It was built in 1630 at the request of King Prasatong. Its architecture is similar to that found in Angkor, perhaps to mark the victory over Cambodia. It was dedicated to the king's mother. The southern part of Thailand is in the shape of an elephant's trunk, lying between the South China Sea and the Andaman Sea. As one travels towards Malaysia, Buddhist temples are replaced by Muslim minarets. The Phanga Bay is one of Thailand's most lovely areas. Limestone sculptures, fashioned by erosion, rise like evil spirits from the calm waters of the bay. The Muslim Mokens established a village of stilt houses on Koh Phanyi. The homes, stores, and mosques are all linked by old pontoons. These once nomadic people of Malaysian origin settled here, and today live primarily off of fishing. On the western coast, Krabi often serves as a port to junks heading back to Singapore, as well as the Gulf's various fishermen. The island of Phuket is covered by jungle, with the exception of a few coconut and rubber tree plantations. The most beautiful beaches are located on the western side of the island.